And now we have, another step forward in that evolution or dilution, as you said earlier, of this being the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. We haven't gotten into the minutia yet of people saying, well, it's the first, main event of SummerSlam, and then we get all the same discussion as we do with WrestleMania. But generally speaking, when I look at this card for SummerSlam right now, I think, all right, some of this makes sense as a SummerSlam card being like, it's the midway point to another WrestleMania. It's some of the biggest matches you can put on at the same moment. But a lot of it also feels like this could just be any other pay-per-view. And whether that's a 2-night split and some of the other matches wouldn't have made, we know for sure, obviously, some of these matches would not have made the card if it was a 1-night event. And I think we can kind of point out which ones that would have been in a lot of fashion. But I still think that there's potential for both of these nights to be overall solid, even though I think one of them is handedly going to be better than the other one. Like, there's no question which one of these 2 nights I'm more anticipating. Now, you're not watching these, I'm assuming. Or actually, are you going to make an exception? Are you going to watch either of these?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I didn't watch the Royal Rumble this year. I'm going to watch this shit.
Right.
2 nights of it.
But if you were to be checking this out, is there a particular night 2 is significantly better than night 1 kind of feeling for you, like if it is for me? Or vice versa?
Well, it's significantly more lopsided in the sense that there's only one match on night 2 that's got rules attached to it, because all the rest of them are no DQ matches.
It's a little crazy how they split this up.
Yeah.
And it's like not even just about like the no DQ thing, but it's even like, just say if you take out, the stipulations, a lot of it is still just sort of like, you really want to have 3 tag team matches on night 1, and then no tag team matches except for the ladder match on night 2? Like, you couldn't maybe swapped maybe the Roman and Jelly Roll thing from one night to the other or something?
Yeah, I don't think they've balanced it particularly fantastically. But, there's some decent matches on here, at least on paper, so that should work out. In terms of balancing night 1 and night 2, night 1 definitely has the weaker overall card from just a match quality standpoint. I imagine that overall it's going to lean worse whether you go with average match ratings, star ratings, however you want to determine it, just your own enjoyment of it. I think it's going to be overall a worse show. But then night 2 is going to be main evented by John Cena, and so it's going to suck by comparison in that regard. So it's going to be one of these weird things where probably the whole of most of night 2 is going to be pretty good, and then the main event's going to ruin it. Whereas the other one, at least you keep a steady level of, I don't want to say mediocrity, but a steadier level, a more consistent flow, then maybe you won't feel as bad at the end of it.
Between the 2 nights, SummerSlam only seems to really apply to night 2 to me. Night 1 feels like that could very easily just be like, Bash in Berlin type show. And I would assume that if there was only one night of WrestleMania, they would cut a good portion of the matches from night 1. There's 2 matches. Actually, there's 3 matches in night 2 that I think could potentially get the axe on that front. We don't have to worry about that because it's a 2-night show, so, this is what we got lined up. Now, one of those matches that is a little bit still questionable is Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. There are a couple things to address here. But one of them is, we might not even get Drew McIntyre in this match. And as far as I'm aware, this hasn't been sorted out, at least as far as 30th. As far as maybe it is being sorted out now, we just don't know because, it's our business. But last I had heard, Drew McIntyre was not able to get into the country due to forgetting his proper documentation. And I don't know how quick and easy that is to be able to, fly back and grab it, get a new one, or, whatever. I'm assuming it's significantly worse now based off of the way that traveling is worse now because of political climates and, the stupid regimes that we have going on and all. But if he does not get the option to come back in time, he's even on Saturday. It's not like they can really particularly swap that to another night, especially because that might conflict with Jelly Roll's schedule and Logan Paul's schedule and whatever. There's an option that they could potentially do that if that ends up being the case, but I think more than likely if he is not in the country by, Friday morning, that SmackDown gets some changes to this. And the best pitch that I've seen is LA Knight's not on this card. And he's one of the few names that's big enough and interesting enough and popular enough that it's weird that he didn't put him on here. They still have some other people, Penda's not on here, and so on and so forth. But I like the pitch that, hey, you're working with what you're working with. Logan Paul makes sense to team up with The Miz and Carmelo Hayes. And then you just throw Logan Paul, Miz, Carmelo is now a 6-man tag, Randy Orton, Jelly Roll, and LA Knight. And you just do it that way. I can't think of anything that would work better in the circumstances. But it would suck if Drew McIntyre's not there, because Drew McIntyre's going to be the linchpin of this entire match. I'm certainly not excited to see Jelly Roll wrestle. It just doesn't appeal to me. Let's put it that way. Tell me how you agree, disagree when it comes to all this. I know that you're not going to really be supportive of The Miz jumping in there, but...
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm watching anyway, and Jelly Roll's already in it, so it can't be worse than that. I don't know how well he's trained, or if he's one of these, ducks to water type, like Logan Paul or Bad Bunny in terms of his in-ring ability. So I don't know, you can surprise us. I know you saw him hit the black hole slam on someone. So, they could be... it probably won't be good, because just his involvement, and I don't think it's, the celebrity thing, that's a SummerSlam trope, so I can understand it doing it. The suggestion of putting Miz, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight in it can't make it any worse. Put it that way. mean, if Drew McIntyre's not involved and he's out the country, my preference would be just do Randy Orton versus Logan Paul and have Jelly Roll and Randy Orton's corner. Just do that instead.
Wouldn't be opposed to that. That's a good way to,
But I guess it depends on what they plan for the matches as well, because they had Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre at Saturday Night's main event, so conventional logic would dictate that McIntyre and Logan Paul would win this one in order to make it one-on-one from McIntyre and Orton's perspective and do some kind of rubber match down the road. But then again, like, it's Jelly Roll's first match, and usually when they have this celebrity person appearing, admittedly we have two celebrities, but at least one of them has been around with WWE for quite a while, so it feels a bit more embedded in the actual roster. But you do have the celebrity win, so it's the idea of, okay, if you could put the Miz and Carmelo Hayes on that side, then it makes it understandable that Jelly Roll just splashes the Miz and gets the victory, because at the end of the day, how much more credibility does the Miz have to lose? So
yeah, especially if it ends up being like an RKO and then whatever Jelly Roll does to follow it up. Then the RKO basically already took him out,
I don't know whether his finisher is called Jelly Roll.
I'm assuming it would be some kind of country crap.
Well, you think Jelly Roll was like a second rope swanton or something like that? I don't know. Or just roll on top of the guy and then that wins the match.
You're giving him far more credit than I'm giving him. I'm like, he might do a choke slam again. Like, I'm doing the most of the moves that I've seen him do so far are him standing him and the other person doing everything. So I'm like, his finisher is going to be a hard punch or something.
Well, it's one of these things where, like, I think we judge celebrities based on like our perception of it from the past, but I think the modern day celebrities that actually do these matches, I guess celebrity in whatever terms you want to define it, but they all seem to take it a lot more seriously than people used to. Like, looking at like Bad Bunny is obviously was a big fan. He did a lot of stuff that looked pretty cool. Logan Paul obviously has taken to it quite naturally. Look at Big Boom AJ over in AEW. I mean, obviously he had a previous wrestling background which helps, but he doesn't do much. But he doesn't have to get the crowd excited. You look at
Stephen Amell.
Like maybe. Yes, Stephen Amell in the past. Like, I think there are people that really want to not necessarily do this full time, but they want to, for their one-off appearance on this thing, want to take it seriously and want to put on a good show for people. They're not just there because who they are on the name of them and then just like rolling around for a little while. This isn't Snooki at WrestleMania levels, I don't think. So I say I'm not going into thinking it's going to be a 5-star classic. But I think he'll try and do his absolute best to do something that is memorable and makes him and the other guys look good. So I say the only real question mark is whether McIntyre is in. Like, it just makes it more. If McIntyre's out and they do have to replace him with just the Miz and Logan Paul or your six-man tag option, then I think the babyfaces win comfortably. Yeah, I think the babyfaces probably win either way, but it's more up in the air if it's McIntyre and Logan Paul. So
yeah, at least at that front, I could see a scenario where McIntyre comes out on top just to balance it out a little bit. But I'm still leaning, even if it is McIntyre, I still think that it's probably Logan Paul takes a pin actually, as opposed to McIntyre, and then because I don't really see, unless it's Randy Orton getting pinned from McIntyre after a Claymore, specifically to set up something, a Clash in Paris, like that they have like a true goal in mind. I don't think Jelly Roll's getting pinned, even though that would make the most sense, because I just sort of almost don't even see. I mean, he took a Claymore. I don't know. Maybe that is just Jelly Roll's willing to take a pin, but I'm going to go with the babyfaces here as well. There are a couple matches on here that I'm not too sure where they're going to go, and one of them is Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship, because I just did not anticipate that they would go in this direction without having Naomi, this other element. She is obviously well out of that picture. Not only is she on the Monday Night Raw roster now, and on the opposite night of the show, wrestling with her championship that she already cashed in her Money in the Bank for, but they've not teased anything at all, like in that fashion or whatever. So I don't know. I don't see where they're quite going, because this hasn't even been like a story. It's essentially just been, Jade's got this match, and let's wait 2 months, and we'll do whatever with either of them in the meantime. And then now they're on like their third week or so of cutting promos of like, well, we're going to have that match. There's no substance to this. And they're both baby faces right now. I can't imagine the match is going to be particularly great, although I could be proven wrong. If Stratton retains, I think people are going to boo. If Cargill wins, I think people are going to be upset. So unless this is going to boil down to like Bianca comes out and she turns heel and she costs Jade or something, or Jade turns heel and beats Tiffany and we get that going on, I'm just kind of at a loss for what they're going for. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Jade wins the championship than Tiffany retains, though.
Yeah, so I think maybe there's the potential of just reading too much into it. It's just a case of they want Jade Cargill to be champion, and Tiffany's the current champion, and so they're just going to have Jade beat Tiffany. I think at the point now where it's nearly 2 years since she made the switch over to WWE and debuted, like she hasn't really kicked on or built up a huge ton of momentum. Obviously, she was part of the tag team with Bianca for most of last year, but it's only recently she's broken out and done more singles action past her previous injury. And I think that she'll go for the pot time with her. It's like, if you're going to make her a world champion, or you're going to make her a big deal or a big focal point, you have to do it now, because you wait too long and people just aren't going to care, and it's nothing to do with that. Well, it's a lot to do with the fact that just her ring work, even though that isn't as big a deal, WWE isn't up to scratch with a lot of the other women, although, like, having said that, the match with Naomi at Evolution was probably better than expectations. But as I say, is that a sign of general improvement, or is that a flash in the pan one-off moment due to the fact that they could do it's like no disqualification match. So that's probably the biggest issue with this one, is that it's not even it's babyface, but what I'm kind of anticipating is it's like nonchalance versus nonchalance, in terms of like Tiffany's like a crowd reaction or crowd response seems to have declined a lot in her reign. She's gotten more generic from what she used to be. She just says her catchphrases and cuts pretty nothing promos for the most part, and she's the same people.
She's regressed, it seems.
Yeah, has been feuding with the same people over and over and over again, which is, well, it was Nia Jax, and then Charlotte briefly for WrestleMania, and then back to Nia Jax essentially for the whole time. So that's obviously not going to help her appeal. Her reign has just become pretty monotonous, and it's been going on for a long time. So I think it's just based on Tiffany holding the title for 8 months.